You're listening to Supervision with a Vision, where we discuss all things supervision. I'm your host, Sarah, professional counselor, marriage and family therapist, play therapist, eating disorder specialist, and cookie lover, with my co-host, Heather, marriage and family therapist, certified Together in Texas counselor, a Texas transplant from California, and outdoor adventurer. Hi, welcome today to Supervision with a Vision. Today, Heather and I are talking about complainers. This week we read Complaints Can Solve Problems, published in Psychology Today 2025. Heather, I think we both instantly made noises and all, even just beginning to discuss this topic. So the first point in the article is that people are complainers, that people as a group tend to notice or trend towards having complaints.
Sure. I mean, think about when you are driving and you see like a car that's like, report my driving. Is anyone ever calling that number and saying, wow, that was such a courteous driver?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like we almost are set up to kind of see the world that way.
That's true. I might do that, but it would have to be really exceptional. Like that person pulled off to the side and like delivered a baby.
So I saw something one time by a very broadly known company that does 1,000,000 trillion deliveries all over the United States and the world, and did call and say what a great job they did because of how they avoided an accident and took kind of some initiative. And they had the hardest time with the fact that I wasn't...
Like the phone tree was like, we don't have a button for that.
Right. And I was like, I just think this truck... I mean, I had everything. Like the truck note, I had all the information. Yeah. And I was like, they were just above and beyond in their service. And I think you should know.
Yeah. How funny. And the phone or the system kept going, wait, what's your complaint?
Right. What's happening? And I was like, no, I want to say good job. Is there like a good job button?
Yeah. I do. I kind of think it's fun. It makes my day better, and I think it makes other people's day better when I can point out something like that in real time. So maybe somebody does something nice. I don't know. I'm at a store or something, and I can say, "Wow, thank you. That was really helpful." Or I spend some time on the phone dealing with insurance companies, resolving claims.
Right. Yes.
But if I call and talk to someone because I've got a claim problem and they're really helpful, I'm like, you have been so helpful. Actually, I can remember I was, it's been, I don't know how long now, maybe it's been 6 months, on the phone trying to make a phone call to the VA, the Veterans Affairs. And the person that helped really genuinely tried and did more than probably their job task and went a little farther. And I went, you have been exceptionally helpful. In a day full of problems.
Right. And that's just
thank you so much.
Yes. Yeah. Breath of fresh air for you, but also for them.
Right. Yeah. But we tend to notice the things that are problems, or we tend to speak up about things that are problems. Which do you think it is? Are we noticing it more often, or are we more likely to speak up when it's a problem?
I've noticed for myself, I am much more likely to become an advocate for a situation if I think that person or group is not represented. So I'm much more likely to speak up for a kiddo if I feel like they don't have a voice in a school system, client or my own. Same with, I feel like I do it the same way with the compliment back of if I see a teenager that makes a really great choice and does something awesome, I'm much more likely to kind of really elaborate what a great job they did because I want to encourage that. But I do think we're geared to be like, that's not right. And this is how it should be. Yeah. But is it because we aren't getting, it's not right in quotes, or is it because we're not getting it our way? Because I think a lot of people complain when it's not.
So is it like an injustice, or is it just that it's not what I wanted? When I was thinking about complaining, I was thinking about being uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah.
That we complain because it catches our attention because something has made us uncomfortable.
Right.
Maybe a social injustice, but maybe it's I'm at a restaurant and the music's too loud.
Right.
That you're like, ugh,
Right.
this is uncomfortable, and
Hmm.
that might
That
then
might
lead you
then,
to
yes, I
complain.
think that's true.
But
Waiting.
and that maybe we people notice feeling uncomfortable
Sure.
more sharply or more quickly than we
Hmm.
would something that's pleasant.
Right. Waiting in, like, especially a doctor's office,
Hmm.
I've seen people really get upset about waiting. Or clearly the doctor or nurse, whoever you're seeing, is busy, or they would
Hmm.
be out here getting you.
Hmm.
But they've got, I think that has to do with it, the uncomfortableness. Like they don't know what to do with themselves, and they feel kind of like there's,
Yes.
and meanwhile, I'm like, it's kind of a joke in our family. I'll take the waiting room. You want me to go sit in the waiting room? Okay. I can read, no problem. But
But because then it's comfortable
right.
compared to whatever the
This
other
is going on.
alternative
Right.
is. Yeah. Okay, so maybe it's seeing something wrong in the world. Maybe
Sure.
it's we're uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's we're unhappy for ourselves.
Right.
Okay. But would you agree with this article that we do trend towards finding
I think we do.
complaints more often
Yes.
than we do finding things that we're
Yes.
happy about?
And I think this applies to, I mean, clients that we see, but I think also some conversations we have with our supervisees, something that they might be complaining about is like it didn't go the way they thought it would, or maybe it's about their workplace environment, things
Hmm.
like that are easy to talk
Oh.
about in the context of just,
Oh, kind of like you're saying that angry is an emotion that's more comfortable for people to express versus something that's more vulnerable.
right?
So complaining about something is more comfortable, less vulnerable than talking about something that's tougher,
Right.
more
More.
personal.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
um, I hadn't thought of that, but I do think I do you find supervisees to be an especially complainy bunch?
I don't know over the top. I mean,
Yeah.
I think mental health, we have definite, like, we deal with a lot more people that could
Yeah.
be complaining, not necessarily to us, but like
Yeah.
in general.
So our supervisees, when they come to us, they are fielding complaints.
Right. And then we're getting the,
And then we get
yeah.
some of that. I think when I have a supervisee that complains, it's because they've been set up poorly to have expectations that are
Yes.
unreasonable.
I think that's very common. Yes.
Like, how often do you think you've met a supervisee that just didn't know what this process involved exactly? And then when they did realize it, they went, "What?
Right. I mean, that,
I didn't sign up for this."
hmm, I think that happens a lot. I
Yeah.
think that if they're not sure, or maybe they just didn't have a lot of clarification until they're kind of in the midst of it.
Hmm. But could it even be, I'm thinking sometimes big things like, I
Right.
have to work how many hours, or
Right.
how many times you've met a supervisee, maybe you don't start working with them, maybe you do, that they say something to the effect of, I have to pay for a
Oh,
supervision.
yes. That's
And
a,
you're like,
mhm.
oh, you
You really didn't
did
know.
not have clear
Right.
expectations. Yeah.
Or
But
how many hours they need to work a week. I've
right,
had supervisees thinking that they're going to see 40 clients a week.
right.
And that's
Or the other way around. I
right.
can remember, or I have now, she was someone that worked for me, but she's a good friend now. And when I said it's reasonable to expect that you would have 20 to 25
Sure.
direct client hours per week,
Hmm.
she went, "What?" I mean, it was like
Like, just threw something at
I
her.
mean, it was I would say we argued.
Okay.
I think she would now say we didn't argue, but
But at the time, it felt
it
that
was a
way.
really big deal to her for a while.
Okay.
And then I went, "Nope, that's reasonable.
Yeah.
Think about it. Count up
Um,
your week and how
right.
you're spending your time, and 20
Hmm.
to 25 is reasonable." And it was hard
Right.
for her to adjust to that.
Sure.
Um, but what if you're even talking about being like brand new counselor, and they get kind of a closet for an office,
Ooh.
or they have to
Share
share,
an office.
they're sharing some kind of like
Hmm.
jump desk
Right.
situation, or I don't know, what's something else that you're like, what? I have to use this box of crayons that looks like,
Right. They don't have wrappers on them.
yeah,
Yeah.
just looks like cruddy and
Right.
broken.
Oh, I
Yeah.
think, yeah, that's what we do.
Or no one's gonna clean my office for me.
Hmm.
That kind of,
Right. Take out the trash. All
yeah.
the,
Do
yeah.
you think are there times where that's part of the like
I think so.
uncomfortable feeling?
Yeah. And I think there's places where we work with supervisees that are struggling because maybe they just had this idealized piece in their brain of how it was going to go. And then once they're like yeah, there's all these other tasks that go into mental health
Yeah,
than not just the face to face with a client.
right. Um, I'm watching the kind of comparing our expectations versus reality. I'm watching this sitcom about therapists
Oh yes, I'm
lately.
watching it.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And wow, they are fancy.
They are
And
fancy.
they're, I mean, every time I think like their building looks like it's huge and beautiful
Right.
and amazing, and there's like three of them in the whole building.
Their offices are 3 times the size of my office that I think is
Huge.
pretty
I
big.
mean, huge and beautiful. And I'm like, I mean, I don't know what you got to be charging those clients that you
Right.
can afford, but if that's what you
Thought.
your
Yes.
conceptualization of what being a counselor was like, and also, and if we're watching the same one, they do an awful lot of sitting in their little
They
break
really
room.
do. I'm like, who gets to hang out? I work with other people and we're like, hi,
Yeah,
bye, I'll be back at 3. Are you going to be
yeah,
here by 4? I mean,
yeah.
that's it.
I mean, yes. And as I'm walking into the bathroom and
Right.
they're walking out the front
Yes.
door, and I mean, that's, but they do,
They hang out.
they do a lot of hanging out. Um, that if you, that's the picture you have in your head of what it's
Right.
like to be a counselor, and then you realize, oh, I'm sharing a desk, and
Hmm.
my counseling space is like not brand
Right.
new.
The view out my window is not
Yeah.
beautiful across the
Yeah.
mountain. Yeah.
Wait, what? Nobody's watering the office plants for me?
Right.
That
Yeah.
all of those things could be a hard pill to swallow.
Hmm.
That would then I think, I mean, this is an exaggerated example, but yeah, I think a lot of new counselors go like, how many meetings do I have to go to?
Right.
And I just went to school. Now I have to get
More
more
hours.
continuing
Right.
education, or I mean, all of those things can
Hmm.
be things that
Yeah.
can be surprises.
Yes.
But then on top of that, so it does feel like a compounding effect that they're feeling that maybe, but also they're seeing clients that are
Hmm.
also complaining to them about what
Whatever.
kind of things do you think is a common client complaint?
I have had in the past a client that came in almost every week and complained about their relationship, but would not do life differently.
Mm-hmm.
Like just needed to come in, vent,
Yeah.
like didn't want to change, like
Mm-hmm.
kind of, so I
Mm-hmm.
think that can be kind of a common, like
Mm-hmm.
somebody that just comes in, they think they're going to therapy to resolve something, but they're not willing to take steps to
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
resolve.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think of a, I don't know what a client complaint would be.
Uh,
There's plenty of things that you
yeah,
could like the cost,
sure.
the distance from
Hmm.
wherever you're at to the
Hmm.
office. The
Traffic.
oh, I my platform that I use for virtual
Hmm.
sessions is a whole lot better than it used to be.
Right.
But it's still not
Great.
completely
Sure.
perfect. Complaining about that,
Hmm.
difficulty logging on,
Right.
difficulty with a connection,
Right.
difficulty, I don't want to download the app. What?
Mhm.
Well, you don't have to. Well, but it
Right.
suggests it. Oh,
Right.
well,
Well, ignore
okay,
that.
but you
Yeah.
don't have to if you don't want to. That all of those things could be things that they're fielding.
Sure.
What about that? A lot of the supervisees we see, not all of them, end up working in agencies or higher level of care.
Hmm. That's
I
very
mean,
true.
I think that's both a lot of complaints that they might have about their work setting, but
Right.
also that means they're going to have maybe more complaints
Yes.
coming from their clients
Yes.
about
Right.
scheduling issues
Right.
or,
I had a client that worked in a situation where a lot of the adolescents that she was working with had family sessions. And in family sessions, parents used that time to complain about what was happening, like
oh,
what the
yeah,
things that they didn't like about the
yeah,
environmental
yeah,
situation was. And it came up enough times that not only did my supervisor, we had been talking about it, but also she needed to talk to her management people
yeah,
about like just like managing these
yeah,
parents outside of what needs to be a
yes,
family
yes, yeah,
session.
yeah. Um, one of the facilities that I was a director at, there was we kind of had a set schedule given from the corporate office, and on the schedule, I think it's just once a week, was some, I can't remember what they called it, community meeting or something like
Okay.
that. And it that's what the understanding of that meeting of that group was, that it was supposed to be, here's our laundry list of complaints.
Right.
And I had to work hard to change the culture of that so that it
Sure.
wasn't just
Just a list of
let's have,
bleh.
yeah, let's have an hour long meeting where we gripe about things. And so instead we used it like a little piece of
Mm-hmm.
let's get some feedback
Right.
rather than calling it a
Right.
complaint. And then we spent the rest of the time as a group planning for something that everybody was involved in the planning. So they felt like
Right. So they include,
engaged,
yes. Yes.
that they had some decision
Sure.
making, that it was something everybody was excited about. We usually did like community service kind of projects,
Right. Something
mostly
they,
because I thought that was cool. But
you're like, but it worked.
it was much better than sitting and complaining for an
Right.
hour.
Right.
The second point in the article is that I don't know that we really needed a whole point for this,
Right.
but this complaining business is not endearing.
Right.
Can you think of a time where you had supervisor, client, coworker,
Mm-hmm.
something where you thought, wow, you are really not
Oh, sure.
endearing right now? This
Oh,
is
yes.
like,
Yeah, it's like, wow, like you really are not, I don't want to spend any more time with you talking about this.
hmm
Like, I'm
hmm
out. Yes, absolutely. I think it happens on every level. I think it
hmm
even happens like in just a workspace. If you have a
Yep,
colleague that's just like not someone that can see the positive, like complaining about driving in the weather or complain,
yep,
like just a complainer by
yep,
nature.
yep.
So,
I've worked in a lot of places. I don't know what that's about. That parking
oh,
was
sure.
just the constant
Mm-hmm.
complaint. And every time I thought, there's nothing to be done there.
Right.
I mean, take the bus.
Right. What else can you do? Yeah.
Nobody's going to fix the parking lot
Right.
situation. We can't add another one.
Right.
I don't know what to do
I
there.
was in a similar situation where the parking on our side of the
hmm
building was horrible. But if you just went around the corner the other way that was kind of counter the traffic flow, there'd be lots of open parking and
hmm
actually relatively close to walking
hmm
in.
hmm
And so I had started telling my clients like, "Oh, keep going behind the building and there'll be easy parking." Because I
Yeah,
just felt like there
yeah.
was all this parking that was right there, easy. And then one of my colleagues heard me telling them, like, "Why do you have your clients park over there? Like they need to park by the door." And I'm like, "Because it's frustrating. They don't want to
Yeah,
wait for a parking spot.
right.
Go park further away and take 10 more steps and you'll
hmm
see,
hmm
you know."
Yeah,
But I think those kind of things are so simple. Like it's like
right.
you just have to like it can be very complaining and you could be sitting there stuck.
Stay with us. We'll be right back. Hey, quick question for you. Are you someone who wants to be fit, healthy, and happy? And what if I told you you could get your dream body by simply just listening to a podcast? I'm Josh.
And I'm KG, and we're the hosts of the Fit, Healthy, and Happy podcast.
Listen, we get it. Fitness isn't easy. Carbs, no carbs.
Just stop, okay? It doesn't have to be that complicated. And that's why we made this podcast. We get straight to the facts so you can become your best you.
So the way to check us out is click the link in the show notes or search Fit, Healthy, and Happy podcast on any of the major podcast platforms. We'll see you soon.
Yeah.
You know,
I think that maybe to me that the when it's not endearing is a time when there's just it feels like there's not
an easy answer.
an easy
Yes.
answer.
Yes.
But if parking around the back, which
Right.
is just a couple steps more, but oh, I didn't know it was there,
Right.
is the solution,
Right.
that's a great solution.
Right.
Um, what are some other, what about, you mentioned this, a client that that's their understanding of counseling is it's an
Right.
hour to come in and complain and vent.
Mhm.
How does that ultimately?
Right. You end up not liking that client. I mean, not that we
hmm
need to like our clients, but you end
hmm
up dreading that appointment
hmm
slot. Those same kind of clients, I feel like they suck energy out of
Yes,
like,
draining.
yeah, they,
hmm
and I mean, I talk about it in supervision a lot that like if you have clients that are doing that, like let's not put them all on the same day.
Yes,
Let's
yeah.
let's give some space
Yeah.
between
That
them.
makes me think of a different sitcom where they had a emotion vampire.
Oh yes.
He was my favorite character. And his whole thing was that he would complain and just drain the
Yeah, right.
energy
Yep.
from you. And so he was an emotion vampire. So he
Mhm.
wasn't drinking blood, he
Right.
was sucking energy.
Yep.
Um, yeah, so it can drain our energy. It changes our attitude towards the
Sure.
situation. I think both of those things means in counseling specifically, we're less effective.
Oh, absolutely. Usually the clients we're working with that come in that are just here to complain, they're not going to do or receive any suggestion or
Yeah.
they're not going to try to do differently because they're going to be really fixated on,
Well, and even if they think that's what they came to counseling to do is to vent, ultimately they're not going to leave having
no, they haven't accomplished
gained
it.
that much,
Right.
which is then also frustrating to them too.
Right.
Okay. The last point is that complaints can guide positive change. I definitely think this is true.
Absolutely.
So what are we saying there, though? Complaints can guide positive change.
I think a complaint given in a like respectable kind of way can be like just notifying somebody of a situation, right? It can bring change. It can bring something positive, like complaining to the front desk lady of something that's wrong in the waiting room, right? Is it an easy, like, hey, did you know? It may not even come off as a complaint, right? Like, someone spit on this magazine. Can we throw it away? Like something like that. That can be really like, there's like a complaint, and then it's like, okay, it's something that can be resolved and it can bring change.
I'm thinking like, what if you went to, I don't know, a cafeteria or somewhere and they're all completely out of spoons.
Right.
And then over and over and over, they're just always out of spoons. That maybe the person who's in charge of spoons goes, we need more. We just always need more spoons. For some reason, we run through spoons quicker. So if we have forks and knives and spoons, we need like twice as many spoons.
Sure.
That hearing and paying attention to a complaint like that could solve a problem.
Right.
Can you think of one that's ever happened to you in counseling or in your office?
Trying to think. There was a situation where a parent complained because they didn't feel like they were getting enough like family like interaction. And so we kind of revisited what we needed to look at. And I definitely felt like the teenager needed their own session time, and that I always incorporate family therapy about once a month, but mom and dad were needing more, and kind of what that could look like, and then collaborated with what could be best. And really it was giving mom and dad kind of some space. They wanted to start every session with the complaints of the thing that their teenager had done wrong. And I was like, that's not what we're doing. We're not going to do that.
That doesn't feel good.
Right.
It wouldn't feel good to them. It wouldn't feel good to their teenager.
Right.
Thinking about this idea of complaints, I feel like this is more present for me this week. What if you get a complaint and all you did was look at it at face value?
Right.
Like this, like that if you hadn't gone through that process and thought through that about this specific family, that you might have just gone, okay, so every other session is a family session.
Right.
But you were thinking critically and thought, okay, but the teenager is actually in a pretty good spot with the amount of counseling that they're getting, but mom and dad are saying more. So what could that look like, or how could we adjust? I mean, like back to my silly example of spoons.
Right.
If you just thought, man, whoever's putting the spoons out isn't doing their job.
Right. They're not getting enough spoons. Yeah.
But maybe it's not that they didn't put them out. It's that everybody uses a spoon for their coffee.
And then they don't have any.
So we run through spoons a lot quicker. That there might be a different root cause, and there also might be a different possible answer. I think that to me happens a lot in counseling.
I think that happens over and over. And maybe that is exactly what kind of strange pattern we get in with counseling is like, not what's your complaint this week, but what are the things, if you're talking to your clients about that they're struggling with, well, usually they're going to be kind of complaining about it.
Yeah. I'm thinking yesterday I saw a kid, and occasionally we have to meet virtually for lots of different, transportation reasons or weather or something. And he kind of got on this kick where I hate counseling, which I thought, he doesn't.
Right. You're like, he seems to enjoy himself.
I've known him long enough that I see him getting something out of it, and he's told me he's getting something out of it. But ultimately, he didn't even dislike virtual. He didn't like being virtual at home.
Oh.
But that's not what he said.
Right.
So it took a little investigating or thinking to figure out, well, what part
do you not like,
or what's hard, and then getting to, or even more frequent, I think it happens that I'm seeing a kid and they go, I don't want to come. I don't want to. And I realize, Tuesday is the one day out of the whole week where you could walk home with your friend.
Right. And you don't get to.
If you're here, then you miss getting to walk home and go to their house for a little bit and play. Oh, maybe we need to think about changing the day.
Right. But often that is a tricky thing. We have to be an investigator and figure out what does the actual complaint mean.
So Heather, what is an example of a complaint that you turned into a positive that was a real positive that you thought, man, that's a total win?
That's a hard one. I think something similar to what you said. It was actually with a supervisee. I didn't realize that our timing every week was really hard on her. And I had no idea. And she was constantly late and I was like, what is going on? And she started complaining about trying to get over here, at that time of day. And I go, we don't have to be in person.
Yeah.
And it was something that she was like, but I like being here. I want to be here. And I was like, but if the timing's not working out for you,
which one's tougher for you?
Would you rather do virtual until we can find a different spot? I mean, it turned out great, but it was like one of those things where it was like, I think the supervisee was just like making her schedule fit my schedule out of what, and then, I was like, well, this seems really hard on you. Why is this, why are we always complaining about either getting here or the traffic or lunch or,
Yeah.
So,
I don't know. I feel like I've got a lot of examples of times where you think, I don't know really what you're complaining about, but let's dig deeper and find out. So, Heather and I would love to hear about a complaint that you turned into magic and now love the outcome. And we'd also like to hear about suggestions for future episodes. Thanks today for listening to Supervision with a Vision. You've been listening to Supervision with a Vision. Head on over to iTunes to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Be sure to check us out on Facebook and Instagram at Therapy Academy to join the conversation and get show notes. We'll be back next week with more Supervision with a Vision.